So when demand increase, demand causes shortage, and it causes, the price pushed towards the upward push of the price, and the price of the labor is called wages. So we have a new equilibrium here. So demand increases, causes shift to the right on demand curve, which causes not only the increase in number of labors, but also the wages. Right, guys? Oliver, Venetia, Havarun, Priscillo, Nicholas, Marco, Lana, understand?
Yes.
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 Good. So also there's now a case study which I just briefly discussed, the productivity and the wages. So it's fruitful if you just go and read that. Now, the other factor of production are called land and capital. After now, we have just covered one, which is labor. The others are land and capital. So what is capital? In economics, in finance, we call this money. But here, or that item is called capital, which has usage for more than 1 year in accounting. But in economics, we referred capital as the equipments used in production. Equipment used to produce goods and services. So economy's capital represents the accumulation of goods produced in the past or being used in the present to produce new goods and services. All right, which means capital must have the life more than 1 year, and that capital must be using for next year as well to produce the goods and services. So it means we are talking about the machinery, the equipment, all right? So in this case, our apple farming scenario, the apple farm capital includes ladders, trucks for transportation, right? These are called the capital. Now, the price of land and capital. So if we talk about, because some firms, they purchase their machinery, but some firms, they lease it for rent or rent it or rental purposes. So it depends on. So we do have two kinds of prices: purchase price, in which a person pays to own the factor of production, in which ownership is transferred, means that ladder trucks belong to that company. What is the rental? Rental price is the price where a person pays to use the factor of production for a limited period of time, in which you are just renting the facilities of trucks and ladders, or maybe the land as well. So the price, you need to be very careful in picking up the price, whether it's a purchase price, whether it's a rental price. So the rental price of land and the rental price of capital are determined by supply and demand. So once you purchase the land, so once you purchase the capital and land, it's yours. But mostly in the business, the rent depends on supply and demand. And their demand is also called derived demand. If the price of apple rises, right, more firms or more people want to produce apples, so they will be renting more land. The rent value of the land increases. Similarly, the capital prices of ladders used in apple picking increases. Wages in apple picking increases. All right. So the demand for land capital is determined just like demand for labor. The firm increases the quantity hired until the value of factor of production, a factor of marginal product equals to the value of factor's price. Simple. See, if we talk about the capital, so their demand and supply depends on the market for the apple. So both land and capital depends on market of Apple. So did you see something here? The capital supply is like linear function, but here the supply curve is more like vertical here. Why? Because supply of land is limited. You cannot just increase the supply of land. All right? So that's why don't get worried about that, because this supply is a little bit tilted towards the vertical side and this is towards the horizontal side or linear relationship. So remember, you cannot produce land because land supply is fixed. All right? So, but demand is called derived demand in both cases. Okay, if you understand this, now answer me it's true or false. As the rental price of capital increases, less capital is used in production. True, false? Guys, it's true or false? Can you hear me? Oliver, Marco?
Yes.
This one is true or false?
The first one, I think it's false.
Okay, one said false. Venetia, Oliver, what's your opinion on that? Marco, Nana, Priscillo.
I think it's true.
Yes, Nicolas, Nicolas, it's true.
Yeah.
Not false. So just think about that. If the prices in rent in Shanghai increases in Changning districts, would you wanna hire more places in Changning district in Shanghai? You wanna pay more rent? Or you wanna do business in Shanghai because Shanghai rent is high? Of course, you will switch your business to Suzhou or nearby where rent is or rent is a little bit low. So this one is true. How about the second one? A change in the supply of any one factor alters the earnings of all other factors. True or false? Oliver, can you hear me? Pavaroon?
True.
Yes. What about the second one? True or false? Guys, can you hear me? Because I cannot hear from anyone. Okay. Let's do that. So second one is also true. Why? The second one is also true. Why? Because if you look at the first one, so if the rental price of the capital increases, which means the rental price of the ladder or the trucks increases, then of course you don't hire many workers who are working in apple farms. So it means demand for labor also decreases. So they are interlinked. They are depend with one another. Right? So each factor of rental value must be equal to its marginal product, which means the price of the capital or land is called rent. Rent must be equal to the value of marginal product. All right. So if value of marginal product is greater, you hire more machinery, or you hire more, or you take more land until it is equal. All right. So why? Because they each earn the value of their marginal contribution to the production process. If the value of marginal product of land and labor, land and capital is higher than the rent, you employ more machinery, you take more land, you hire more workers, you produce more, and you get more profit by producing Qmax. Maximize the profit. All right. So there's a linkage between the factor of production. We talked about that. The factors of production are used all together. All right. If one is decreasing, others are also decreasing. If one is increasing, others are also increasing. So the marginal product of any one factor depends on the quantities of all other factors available. All right. If there is no capital, if there is no equipment, then there is no labor needed. If there is more labor is here, but there is no capital, or there is no land, then capital and labor not needed. Why? Because there is no land available. Guys, you understand? Any question?
No questions, sir.
Oliver, Priscillo, Nicholas, Marco, Haroon, Nana. Okay, I would. Okay, I would be uploading the links of this and also the reading material. So remember, our final exam is on 27th of December. Please don't book anything on this day. And exam going to be on our same class timing. Same, the pattern is we will be talking about in our next class. So next class is going to be on Bing Talk, so that we don't have any interruption here. All right. So see you guys. See you next week. Until then, take care.
Thank you, sir.
See you. Thank you, sir.
Sir. Bye-bye.
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 Thank you, sir.